From high-speed chases to time-traveling DeLoreans, movie cars have burned rubber straight into pop culture history. These legendary rides aren't just transportation, they're stars with horsepower and attitude. Buckle up as we peel out through the most iconic, explosive, and unforgettable cars ever to hit the silver screen. Warning, you may want to shift into nostalgia gear on today's episode. First, the things we all need to know. In movies and TV shows, cars often become characters themselves, especially in action or chase scenes. Productions typically use multiple identical cars, each modified to specific tasks like stunts, interior shots, or close-ups. One might have a reinforced chassis for jumps, while another is rigged for explosions. Cameras are mounted inside, on bumpers, or even on mechanical arms called Russian arms for dramatic driving shots. Interiors are often reworked for lighting and equipment. Interestingly, some stunt cars are even controlled by remote or hidden drivers for safety. After filming, many of these cars are scrapped or they become prized collector's items. Everybody got that? Good. Weird thing number 5. The 1967 Ford Mustang GT500. Best known as Eleanor from the 2000 film Gone in 60 Seconds, has become one of the most iconic cars in movie history. In the film, Nicolas Cage's character Memphis Reynolds must steal 50 high-end cars in one night. But the silver and black GT500, nicknamed Eleanor, is his white whale and he is Ahab. The Eleanor Mustang used in the movie was a heavily customized version of the original 67 GT500. Featuring a unique body kit, side exhausts, custom wheels, and sleek silver paint with black racing stripes. The car was fitted with fake nitrous buttons and a signature Go Baby Go switch for extra flair. In total, 11 cars were built for the film, with some made strictly for stunt work, others for close-up shots. The design was so popular that it launched a wave of Eleanor replicas that even led to a legal battle over the car's image being copyrighted as a movie character. The real 1967 Shelby GT500 was already a legend long before Hollywood gave it new life. It marked the first time Carroll Shelby, the famed performance tuner, went beyond the smaller GT350 to create a Mustang with a big block V8 power. The GT500 was built by Shelby American's facility in California using Ford's newly redesigned 1967 Mustang Fastback as its base. It featured a longer, more aggressive body, functional hood scoops, and fiberglass panels to give it a race-ready look. Under the hood, the 67 GT500 packed a 428 cubic inch Police Interceptor V8, producing 355 horsepower and a massive 420 foot-pounds of torque. It was paired with either a 4-speed manual or a 3-speed automatic transmission. This made the GT500 a true performance car, capable of 0 to 60 miles per hour in 6.5 seconds, with strong mid-range torque perfect for both street and strip. Production numbers for the 67 Shelby GT500 were relatively low. Just 2,048 units were built, making it highly collectible. It was priced higher than most other Mustangs, but offered exclusivity, power, and Shelby's racing pedigree. Compared to rivals like the Chevy Camaro SS, the Pontiac GTO, and the Dodge Charger RT, the GT500 was more expensive and limited in numbers, but delivered superior performance and cachet. The Camaro and GTO had larger production volumes and broader appeal, but the Shelby GT500 was aimed at drivers who wanted something truly special. Today, original 67 GT500s are considered blue-chip collector cars, especially those with matching numbers and original parts. Prices at auctions routinely exceed 6 figures, with movie-inspired Eleanor replicas commanding hefty sums, even if they aren't true Shelbys. Weird fact, unlike most Mustangs, early GT500s used laminated paper tags under the hood instead of traditional metal VIN plates. Over time, many of these tags wore out or disappeared, making it difficult to authenticate some models, fueling many disputes among collectors over what's real and what's just a really good-looking clone. Weird thing number 4, the 1977 Pontiac Trans Am. This little car became a cultural icon thanks to the star role in the film Smokey and the Bandit, which hit theaters that same year. Driven by Burt Reynolds' character, the Bandit, the black and gold Trans Am was more than just a getaway car. It was a statement of rebellious cool. With its aggressive styling, T-tops, and massive Screaming Chicken hood decal, the car perfectly fit the Bandit's outlaw image as he led lawmen on a high-speed Coors smuggling run across state lines. Interestingly, the cars used in the film were actually 1976 Trans Ams modified with the newer 1977 front end, with quad rectangle headlights, because the updated models weren't available in time for filming. 4 cars were used, and all were severely damaged or destroyed by the time shooting wrapped. The movie was a huge hit, and Trans Am sales skyrocketed as a result, proving that muscle, style, and Burt Reynolds' mustache made a winning combination. Now, in real life, the 1977 Trans Am was a high-performance version of the Pontiac Firebird and received a facelift that gave it a more aggressive front-end design. It featured 4 rectangle headlights, a new grille, and revised taillights. The most eye-catching version was the Special Edition SE, painted black with gold accents, gold snowflake wheels, and that iconic flaming bird decal on the hood, also known as the Screaming Chicken. While not mechanically superior, this trim became the best known thanks to its starring role on screen. Under the hood, the 77 Trans Am came with several engine options, depending on the buyer's location and emission standards. The most common engine was the 6.6-liter 400 cubic inch V8, producing 180 to 200 horsepower depending on the version and transmission. California models, restricted by emissions laws, came with an Oldsmobile 403 cubic inch V8, producing 185 horsepower. Though muscle cars were generally down on power in the late 70s due to federal regulations, the Trans Am still delivered enough grunt and attitude to satisfy enthusiasts. Pontiac produced 68,745 Trans Ams in 1977, a record number at the time, and would only grow on the following years. The car came with either a 4-speed manual or a 3-speed automatic, and offered decent handling for a muscle car, especially with the optional WS6 performance package, which added upgraded suspension, wider wheels, and better brakes. Compared to rivals like the Chevy Camaro Z28, Ford Mustang II, or the Dodge Aspen RT, the Trans Am stood tall. The Z28 was competitive but much less flashy. The Mustang II had moved far away from its muscle car roots. The Trans Am, on the other hand, managed to keep its aggressive styling and performance flair during a time when most American muscle cars were being tamed. Weird fact, the Screaming Chicken hood decal was nearly scrapped by GM executives who called it too loud, too tasteless. But Pontiac designer Bill Porter fought for it, and that oversized bird became one of the most recognizable graphics in automotive history. Weird thing number 3, the 1969 Dodge Charger. The Charger gained legendary status thanks to the TV show The Dukes of Hazzard, where it appeared as the iconic General Lee. Painted in bright orange with a Confederate flag on the roof and the number 01 on the doors, the car was known for outrageous stunts, mid-air jumps, and near miraculous escapes from Sheriff Roscoe and Boss Hogg. The show aired from 1979 to 1985 and turned the General Lee into one of the most recognized cars in pop culture. Over 300 Chargers were used in that 6-year period throughout the series, with many destroyed due to the show's famous jump scenes. Some cars were rigged with roll cages and ballast to land flat, while others were empty shells used solely for airborne shots. Only a handful of original TV cars survive today, and they are prized collector's items. Despite its fame, the car's Confederate flag graphic has become controversial in recent years, with some fans and collectors opting to remove or cover it, which to me seems like a damn crime. Outside of its Hollywood fame, the 1969 Dodge Charger was already a star on the street. It was part of the second generation of Chargers, introduced in 1968 and known for its sleek, fastback styling, hidden headlights, and aggressive grille. The 69 model received minor updates, including a divided grille, rectangular taillights, and a new special edition SE trim package with wood grain accents and leather inserts. Dodge produced about 89,199 Chargers in 1969, and it became one of the brand's top-selling performance cars of that whole era. Now, under the hood, buyers had a wide range of engine options. The base engine was a 225 cubic inch slant 6, but most opted for V8s. Popular choices included the 318, the 383, and the 440 Magnum V8s, while serious gearheads could order the legendary 426 Hemi, producing 425 horsepower. The Charger RT, which stands for Road and Track, model became standard with the 440 and could be upgraded to the Hemi for ultimate performance. The car delivered strong straight-line acceleration and decent handling for its size, making it a favorite at drag strips and on the streets. Compared to rivals like the Chevy Chevelle SS, the Pontiac GTO, and the Ford Torino GT, the Charger offered a unique blend of muscle and style. Its size and bold looks gave it road presence, while its engine lineup kept it competitive in the horsepower wars. While the GTO was lighter and the Chevelle had better handling, the Charger's design and brute force gave it a distinct identity. Today, the 1969 Charger is one of the most sought-after muscle cars in the world, especially in the Road and Track or original Hemi form. Values have skyrocketed, especially for well-preserved or screen-used examples. Little weird fact, the Charger's vacuum-operated headlights were a very cool design feature, but if the vacuum system failed, the headlights would stay hidden, making nighttime driving a real challenge unless you manually popped them open. Cool? Yes. Convenient? Not always. Weird thing number 2, the 1981 DeLorean DMC-12. This car achieved cinematic immortality as the time machine in the movie Back to the Future, 1985. This is where it was retrofitted with a flux capacitor and a dash of plutonium to jump through time. Director Robert Zemeckis and writer Bob Gale originally envisioned a time-traveling refrigerator, no lie, but swapped it out for DeLorean because of its futuristic look and gull-wing doors, which made the car instantly memorable on the screen. In the movie, Doc Brown famously declares, "If you're gonna build a time machine into a car, why not do it with some style?" Christopher Lloyd can't be beat. Several versions of the car were built for the film, including the one with interior controls for close-up shots, and the others that were rigged for remote control or stunt scenes. Though the car flopped commercially, Back to the Future turned it into a cult legend. A real-life DeLorean used in the movie is now on display at the Peterson Automotive Museum in Los Angeles. Now in reality, the DeLorean DMC-12 was the brainchild of former GM executive John DeLorean. He sought to revolutionize the sports car industry with an ethical, innovative vehicle. Production began in 1981 with a brand new factory in Dunmurry, Northern Ireland, with significant financial support from the British government. Now that year, approximately 6,500 units were produced, each featuring a brushed stainless steel body, gull-wing doors, and a fiberglass underbody. Each DMC-12 looked nearly identical as it was only offered in one color, bare metal, and one body style. Now under the hood, the DMC-12 was powered by a 2.85-liter V6 engine developed in partnership between Peugeot, Renault, and Volvo, commonly called the PRV engine. It delivered 130 horsepower and was paired with either a 5-speed manual or 3-speed automatic. Despite its exotic appearance, performance was pretty underwhelming, with a 0 to 60 time at about 10 seconds, give or take a couple of seconds past, far from supercar territory. Critics at the time praised its styling and innovation, but they panned its sluggish acceleration and high price. At a base price of around $25,000 in 1981, that's equivalent to over about $80,000 today. The DMC-12 competed with more established and better performing cars like the Chevy Corvette, the Porsche 924, and the Mazda RX-7. Now while its design stood out, quality control issues and mechanical bugs hurt early sales. The company struggled financially and collapsed in 1982 following John DeLorean's arrest in a now infamous drug sting operation, though he was later acquitted. Today, the DeLorean is still a very sought-after collector's item, valued as much for its movie legacy as for its rarity and unconventional design. Enthusiasts keep many running, and a modern reboot of the DeLorean brand has even been announced. Let's see if that happens. Now, a weird fact about it, because of its unpainted stainless steel body, fingerprints and smudges were a constant problem. To combat this, every new DeLorean originally came with a Scotch-Brite pad, so owners could literally buff out any blemishes like kitchen countertops or a stove. And finally, weird thing number 1, the 1964 Aston Martin DB5. This elegant vehicle is widely regarded as the most iconic car in cinema history, thanks to its long-running role as James Bond's ultimate ride. First appearing in Goldfinger 1964, the sleek silver Grand Tourer instantly became a symbol of suave spy style. Outfitted by Q Branch with gadgets like machine guns, an ejector seat, revolving license plates, and an oil slick sprayer, the DB5 was more than a luxury vehicle, it was a weapon on wheels. The car returned in multiple Bond films over the decades, including Thunderball, GoldenEye, Skyfall, and No Time to Die, making it a recurring star in the entire franchise. Multiple versions were built for filming, including stunt cars and prop-only models. One fully loaded Bond DB5 was even stolen in 1997 and banished over 2 decades before being recovered in 2022. Due to fan demand, Aston Martin released a limited Goldfinger edition DB5 in 2020, complete with working gadgetry. There's no bullets and machine guns, so. But beyond the glitz of Hollywood, the real 1964 Aston Martin DB5 was already an elite automobile before it hit the big screen. Produced at Newport Pagnell in Buckinghamshire, England, the DB5 was introduced in late 1963 as the successor to the DB4. It was available primarily in 1964, with production ending in '65. Only 1,059 standard DB5 coupes were built, adding to its exclusivity. The car was handcrafted with fine attention to detail and featured a steel body designed by Carrozzeria Touring of Milan using their Superleggera, super light technique, giving the car sleek, flowing lines. Powering the DB5 was a 4.0-liter inline-6 engine, an upgrade from the DB4's 3.7-liter engine, and it produced about 280 horsepower. Mated to a 5-speed ZF manual transmission, allowing the car to reach 0 to 60 in about 8 seconds and a top speed of 145 miles an hour. Very impressive for its time. There was also a high-performance Vantage version that boosted horsepower even further. Inside, the DB5 was pure luxury, with full leather upholstery, deep carpeting, a walnut dashboard, electric windows, and even a fire extinguisher as standard equipment. Against rivals like the Jaguar E-Type, the Ferrari 250 GT, and the Maserati 3500 GT, the Aston Martin DB5 held its own by offering a refined blend of British elegance and high performance. While the E-Type was flashier and faster for the price, the DB5 had a more gentlemanly persona, one that appealed to the same demographic as Bond himself. Now, at the time, the DB5 was well regarded, but not yet legendary. That changed after Goldfinger, launching it into the global fame. Weird fact, the DB5's famous silver birch paint wasn't even a top color choice in 1964. It was picked by film producers because it looked best on black and white film reels and helped Bond's car pop against darker backgrounds. Today, it's the default shade of any serious DB5 collector. Well, that's it for today's episode. I hope it made you nostalgic for those movie cars we have all loved over the years. I got a few movies I want to rewatch tonight because of this video. So do me a favor, subscribe, watch more of my videos. You can even become a member of the channel and help support. Take care, have yourself a great day.